About you, Mr.
This was taken October 30th of 2024. This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb, or this object, off the coast of Yemen. You'll see that another MQ-9 launched a Hellfire missile. You cannot see that drone.
Are you aware of anything in the government, United States government arsenal that can split a Hellfire missile like this?
No.
And do whatever blob thing it did and then keep going? Nothing?
Nothing.
All right, how about you, Chief Wiggins?
Nothing to my knowledge, ma'am.
Okay, and how about you, Mr. Borland?
I prefer to answer that in a skiff.
I have heard about events like this. I have heard about this event. Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it in one of our episodes a while back. We did not have the video, though. There are servers where there's a whole bank of these kind of videos that Congress has not been allowed to see, that the public hasn't been allowed to see. Occasionally, some of that stuff gets out in the wild, and it comes our way. It should be going to you. The public should be seeing this stuff. And why you're not allowed to, I don't know. But that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off. And it kept going.
It kept going, and it looks like the debris was taken with it.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
What's your take on Anunnaki?
Okay, in our history, there seems to be a few very, very strong cases for evidence of tampering with our biological progression. And the story about the Anunnaki, that was Zecharia Sitchin went back and he translated the Sumerian text, which were the earliest known form of writing in this iteration of civilization. And according to him, it tells a story about a whole alien species that came down here, genetically re-engineered the existing primates and made us to basically work for them and do work on the planet. And then at some point, they left us to our own devices.
Stop stuttering. They're still here.
This was taken October 30th of 2024. This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb.
This is why they killed Zecharia Sitchin. Because Zecharia Sitchin decoded the Sumerian text, said there was a group of extraterrestrials known as the Anunnaki. That's called those that fell from heaven. That's what the Anunnaki mean. Those that fell from heaven, or fallen ones, whatever you want to call it, came down here and engineered and genetically modified a group of species. Now, how do you know who was genetically modified and who was created? By the different animal DNAs. A monkey will not sexually reproduce with a zebrafish, a wolf, a dog, a cow, a sheep. It won't sexually reproduce with that. And a wolf won't even sexually reproduce with a dog, even though the dog comes from the wolf. The dog is a genetic mutation of the wolf. It was spliced. This is what I'm telling you. And they know this, and this is coming out. It is rapidly coming out, and this is a psychological problem. That's why it will be more chaos on the planet. See, they can't stop this information happening. They can't stop it. They know that these people, they all are knowing, and those that don't know are coming to the realization that they were a genetically modified species that was created by something for them to do their biddings, and they are still here, and it's connected to that fake royal family.
Tampering with our biological progression.
Be going to you. The public should be seeing this stuff. And why you're not allowed to, I don't know. But that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off.
Absolutely.
And it kept going.
You can't.
It kept going, and it looks like the debris was taken with it.
Yeah. What the hell is that?
What's your take on Anunnaki?
Okay, in our history, there seems to be a few very, very strong cases for evidence of tampering with our biological progression. And the story about the Anunnaki, that was Zecharia Sitchin went back and he translated the Sumerian text, which were the earliest known form of writing in this iteration of civilization. And according to him, it tells a story about a whole alien species that came down here, genetically re-engineered the existing primates and made us to basically work for them and do work on the planet. And then at some point, they left us to our own devices, so to speak. That's a hotly debated subject, whether it's true or not. The evidence is pretty strong that something like that could have happened, whether it's that specific thing or not. People are still arguing that point.
I'd like to ask the committee to replay that video that Burleson had played earlier. I want to ask every witness here, specifically ones that have sensor training or have been able to recognize some of this movement real quick. So if you guys can please roll that real quick. Okay, while this is still rolling, Mr. Nusatelli, real quick yes or no answers. Are you aware of anything in the government, United States government arsenal that can split a Hellfire missile like this?
No.
And do whatever blob thing it did and then keep going? Nothing?
Nothing.
All right, how about you, Chief Wiggins?
Nothing to my knowledge, ma'am.
Okay, and how about you, Mr. Borland?
I prefer to answer that in a skiff.
Okay, does this video scare you guys? Yes or no?
Yes.
Wiggins?
Yes.
Nat?
I had a different reaction. I was really happy that it got out. Thanks for providing that.
Curiosity killed Nat. All right, Mr. Borland?
Yes for
Okay. All right, that is the end of my questioning.
Look, I'm not jumped to the conclusion that I believe that there are, aliens coming from another planet. But I'm open to that. And I think that it's our responsibility, especially when we're seeing that we have a government that is actively blocking information from us. Just last night, I tried to get an amendment onto the National Defense Authorization Act that fit in the germaneness of that bill to have UAP disclosure. And conveniently, it was named non-germane, mostly deemed by staff, not even an elected official. This is the kind of stuff that we repeatedly see. Last year, we were blocked by someone in House administration from being able to receive a full briefing from Arrow. So not an elected official, but someone in staff blocked us. And I've had it. Enough is enough. I want to cue up a video that I've been given. And as before it starts, I'm going to describe. This was taken October 30th of 2024. This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb, or this object, off the coast of Yemen. You'll see that another MQ-9 launched a Hellfire missile. You cannot see that drone. And so I'm not going to explain it to you. You'll see exactly what it does.
Congress is obviously holding this really high-profile hearing, and it's called Restoring Public Trust Through UAP Transparency and Whistleblower Protection. Do you think they kind of want to raise the veil on this? You mentioned, they have some of these mechanics, I guess, in their possession. Do you think they want to raise the veil and reveal this to the public?
There are some people in Washington, D.C., and I've been in Washington, D.C. working with a lot of these people. MUFON was instrumental in some of the things that you see bubbling up to the surface. So I personally know a lot of the people that are leading the UAP, the UAP exposure through the congressional and political process, the congressmen and the senators. But yeah, they really care, but they're also up against the fact that we do have national security. We do have highly classified stuff. You can get guys that have worked on these programs to come in, but they can't talk to a congressman about what they know because the congressman probably doesn't have the clearance. So we're dealing with this whole political dance right now that we're seeing unfold in Washington. But the bottom line is there are people in D.C. that are very dedicated towards bringing as much of this knowledge as possible to the public.
Okay, so that leads to my next question. That is the significance of today's hearing in particular. Will you kind of put this in context with recent history? Because I know a lot of these phenomenon have been getting buzz. We all saw that footage from those, I think they were Navy pilots where they saw those, those lights.
Buzzing around.
Sure. It really raised a lot of eyebrows.
So, Mr. Knapp, have you heard about, events like this occurring? And what information might you have?
I have heard about events like this. I have heard about this event. Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it in one of our episodes a while back. We did not have the video, though. There are servers where there's a whole bank of these kind of videos that Congress has not been allowed to see, that the public hasn't been allowed to see. Occasionally, some of that stuff gets out in the wild, and it comes our way. It should be going to you. The public should be seeing this stuff. And why you're not allowed to, I don't know. But that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off. And it kept going.
It kept going, and it looks like the debris was taken with it.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
Why do you think it is that the government wouldn't want to talk about this? Is this, in fear of the public response to this? Why keep it under wraps?
Well, there's several reasons for this, and first and foremost is that we believe and have a good case for the fact that this is a deception that goes back into the 30s and even really all the way back through recorded history. But in the modern day, a lot of people have done a lot of things that they do not want to be accountable for. Keeping some of this technology, some of these secrets from humanity can border on criminal. And with some of these corporations that are holding this stuff, there's all kinds of legal issues that pop up. And the other is, national security. We don't want to tip our hand to what we may have or what we may have created from having possession of some of this technology. And then, the other thing is, how much is it going to disrupt society? If it's, hey, there's extraterrestrials, they're around us, they're not a threat, well, life goes on pretty much as normal. But if there's something dark and mysterious behind this, or there is a threat, that's not something they want to just parade out in front of people. It's they've got to be very, very careful how they spill this knowledge. And what we're seeing now since 2017 is that this knowledge is coming forth. It's not coming forth as fast as we want it, and it's not coming forth in the full disclosure that we all want to see, but we are getting information.
For too long, the issue of unidentified anomalous phenomena, commonly known as UAPs, has been shrouded in secrecy, stigma, and in some cases, outright dismissal. Today, I want to state clearly that this is not science fiction or creating speculation. This is about national security, government accountability, and the American people's right to the truth. I've spoken now to a number of whistleblowers from the military, to include the infamous Eglin Air Force Base incident that occurred when myself and former Representative Matt Gaetz, as well as Representative Burchett, followed up on a lead from multiple active duty Air Force pilot whistleblowers that alleged that the United States Air Force was covering up UAP activity at Eglin Air Force Base. We have heard from a number of whistleblowers, specifically military pilots, that the reason for not coming forward publicly is out of fear that speaking out would cost them their flight status and potentially their careers. This is unacceptable. We cannot protect our airspaces if our best trained observers are silenced. We cannot advance science if we refuse to ask questions. And we cannot maintain trust in government if we keep the American people in the dark. Now, Congress has tried to fix this problem. Congress tried to create formal channels through the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, also known as AARO, and the Intelligence Community Inspector General for service members and officials to make disclosures. But the reality, the reports come in are often to brush aside, slow-walked, or met with skepticism rather than serious investigation. Additionally, oversight reporting to Congress is classified and only provided to the authorizing and appropriations committees of jurisdiction. The American people are not fragile. They do not need to be shielded like children from reality. What they cannot tolerate and what they will not forgive is a government that withholds the truth and punishes those who dare to speak up. I want to close with this. Future generations will look back at this moment and ask what we did when presented with the unknown. Did we look away, embarrassed or afraid, or did we pursue the truth with courage?
Okay, my people, you heard what they were stating, and you heard what was quoted on camera. They shot a rocket. The orb split the rocket in half and took all the debris with it. Now listen to what he said. Y'all can rewind that and hear what he stated, what took place between that orb and that rocket. They shot a rocket at it, one of the top high-powered rockets. The orb split it in half and took all the debris with it. Now look at this scene right here.
Roger out.
Let me make this very clear. It is overwhelming evidence now that Earth is a school and this was a test. When you are tested, healthy or unhealthy, when you challenge yourself, healthy or unhealthy, it expands your consciousness. It makes you grow. Whether you grow backwards or you spiral up. Either way, when you are pushing your body to the limit, so therefore your consciousness to the limit, which is pushing your body to the limit. So let me give an example. You know why most people don't like to work out? Because it's mental and it's physically. And you don't like the pain afterwards. But guess what happens when you do work out? More oxygen and blood flow is going to the brain, which means more minerals are going to the brain, which means your brain is acting or responding on optimal performance.